how do you balance being a music producer, video director, and musician? You got to be conscious of your mental health as well, you know?
I took a break from the social media platforms. I think I will be back in the next few days, but I took a break and I went for a spa day, and it was really really nice, very relaxing. It was amazing. So I treat myself like a queen. See my crown, let me adjust my crown. Yeah, there you go. So that's what I do. When I feel that it's too much, I take a break and I treat myself. I love myself first. I prioritize my self-care, and I go, as I said, for a spa day or for a massage. Take a warm bath with sea salts. I read books that can help me understand better myself and the world, if it makes sense. For example, actually, I think I have it here. So it's called the 40 Laws of Power. So I don't know if you ever heard of this before. No?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay.
No,
So it's by Robert Greene. It's very interesting.
what is it about?
It's actually about how to become more powerful and successful in society. And it gives you 48 laws. Okay, and according to these laws, you you should become more successful, more powerful, and have more control um, over others people. And yeah, be successful, be more respected, um, feeling more valued, be more appreciated by others. So there are like tactics. So if I feel like that I feel a bit unbalanced or is a bit too much, or I just really try to learn more about myself and also more about society. And because sometimes it's very hard to deal with others. Like 3 days ago, was it 3 days ago? A few days ago, anyways. Yeah, 3, 4 days ago. I had a very mm, let's just say I had an argument with this collaborator, okay, and then I fired him, okay, because he behaved very very badly, and that really I was feeling very down, okay, so that had an impact on my mental health because for like a day I couldn't really
Mm,
function, I couldn't work. I mean, I didn't want to work. And that's the point. It's not that I couldn't, I
mm.
didn't want to. So when something like that happens, when these these issues, these difficulties, arise, what I think we should do, or at least what I think, what I believe, that would be helpful, because it works for me anyways, is to just take a deep breath and know that nothing else, can really affect you if you don't allow that. So, for instance, if I am, arguing, with someone else, then maybe I am upset for a day, but then I just move on. Okay, I just move on. I think, okay, there would be like another person, coming, or because there are always challenges, always challenges in life. So I never quit. I always think that I that's an experience for me that I can learn from that. So it doesn't really put me down. It helps me to be even stronger. Okay, so when I feel like something is wrong, um, something that has upset me, I move on. It's a superpower I think that I developed with time, being in this industry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean, Stella. Especially, I've recently had two heartbreaks, and one of them, I didn't want to move on. I didn't want to do podcasts. I didn't want to go to work, whatever. But I'm steadily crawling out of that ground. Now, we all suffer this, and we all learned something from it. With you, what are some challenges you face when creating and producing your music?
challenging, let's see. So I think the most challenging thing is really to do everything, multitasking. I'm actually really good at multitasking, if it makes sense, because I write my own songs, I produce the songs, I master the songs, I do the videos, so I film the videos, I edit the videos, I do everything. And obviously, I also send, the merchandise, I do all the editing by myself, as I said. I do the design for the merchandise, I think about the vision of the brand, live performances, and all of these things. So I would say the most difficult thing is to keep track of all of these things. But as a CEO and entrepreneur, I learned, during these years how to do that. So I always have like an agenda. Obviously, I have an agenda where I write everything down, and I try to not. Actually, this is something that maybe can help others. Okay, um, I learned to let go of perfectionism. So I always been a perfectionist, which is good. It's good to have high standards, and it's good to push yourself. Obviously, if you don't do that, I don't think you can achieve great things. But I think that especially for the listeners, um, we have so much pressure, especially from the social media, with all of this, fake
Mm-hmm.
accounts, fake like robots, and all of these things. Everything is becoming really fake. You don't even know what is real.
Mm-hmm.
So especially young people, the young ones, they have this wrong um, wrong image of what beauty should be. And I'm not just talking about like physical, okay, physical characteristics, also like beauty, like music, okay, like there is AI that does music, all of these things, so everything sounds perfect, it sounds kind of the same, there is no soul in that. So I think the soul is the most important thing, the imagination, the idea. Obviously, the context and the vision, that's something more, that adds to that. But the most important thing is, the idea. So when I let go of the fact, that if something is not perfect, I can live with that, because the demon of, I call it the demon of procrastination, is much worse. So if you procrastinate because something, is not exactly as you want it to be, I don't think that you can achieve in life something, because nothing is perfect. So I think doing things on a schedule, and do not procrastinate. That's that's a tip, for everyone, that maybe wants to, have a business, or that is, in the music industry. So I do have like a call option on my website. If there are, like emergent artists that need some sort of information or help or support, they can actually book a session with me.
Because you spent 16, 17 years in music industry, so that's something that you can do because you've experienced it, especially newcomers who've never been in a music industry. You can share your,
Mhm.
what you want to do.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
what I can, if I can help, obviously I am more than happy to help others. I mean, why not? I think
yeah,
there is enough competition going on in the music industry, and so it would be good, to have more cooperation and less competition.
what do you think of artificial intelligence, AI music generation like Suno, Udio, and creating music using either your voice or someone's voice? Like, would you ever use AI to
I
do a
think I'm gonna
song?
kill myself. I
Yeah.
think I would kill myself if someone uses my face or my voice to do something. Because humanity usually, most human beings don't use things for good, right? So I am very scared of that. And actually, I think that that's not going to be used for good. And I think that if we use AI and all of this stuff, we would probably lose what's the most important thing about art is that the artist, right? So if there is no artist, there is no actual art. I mean, it would even be difficult to define what is art if you don't have the artist. I mean, what is actually art if you don't have
Mhm.
the original artist doing that, if you have a machine doing that? It was also used on Spotify platforms, all music AI generated, and the most disturbing thing about Spotify, and the reason why I left, so I removed all my music from Spotify, is that the CEO of Spotify not only is not paying, artists, it doesn't pay, a decent um, salary, to artists. Not only that, but he took all the money that he earns from Spotify and invested the money into AI warfare. So after
Well,
knowing that, I obviously removed myself from the platform, and I thought that almost all the artists would have done that, but they didn't. So yeah, I made my own conclusions about the music industry and what people are willing to do just for the sake of being um, you know recognized as an artist or for exposure. So for me, art is something sacred, is something mystical, is something at least it should be something used for good. So I don't want to have my music on a platform if I know that the CEO is using even just a penny of my of what he's making out of my music, and he's using it for AI warfare weapons. And because I mean, obviously I'm not saying that I can't um, compromise on anything, but I can't compromise on that. I don't support warfare. I don't support weapons, and I care much more about the integrity and what my brand values are, rather than just being on a digital platform because everyone is there. Well, I'm not.
so yeah, Stella, that was a great answer. I love that answer. So what was it like collaborating with Lloyd Price of the Frixion on your EP "Loving the Alien"?
I imagine the song as a synth pop, I would say, arrangement. So that's how I saw that, that song. I wanted to rearrange that song in that way. Then Loy comes and does a completely different thing, a more Gary Newman like approached arrangement, very, very industrial, very different. Um, and yeah, Lloyd is great. It was fantastic to collaborate with him, and everything went very smooth. So there were no issues at all whatsoever. I didn't even have to explain to him what I wanted and how I wanted, the sound, because really everything that he does, I really like everything, when he produced the music. So I and he's also very quick when he does that. So I sent him the stems, and then he produced the song in his own recording studio. And that was like, it went really well. Lots of great numbers for that streaming for the Loving Liene remix. We were meant to also work together on a full album, and I'm actually working on this album. um, I've started working what was it, last summer? Yeah, in July, even before July actually. So I have 14 songs ready, ready as a demo, not like ready. But I have these 14 songs, and I asked Lloyd to, if you want. Well, actually, he asked me if we could like collaborate and doing an album together. I said, yeah, obviously, of course. But then he said that he was gonna be too busy with his new business. So actually, we are not right now collaborating at this album. So I'm not quite sure if I am going to do the album myself, or if I will do like a few songs with him when he's, free, and he can perhaps rearrange them, and do his own version of the music. It's interesting, to have another perspective, someone else doing something different with your songs is really interesting. But I think for my new album, this new album, I'm doing something
Mm.
very, I would say, how can I explain this? Well, I can't really tell you everything, but I think with this new album, I will show a more spiritual side of myself, So it would be
Mm.
more spiritual, more soul centered rather than about the sound. It would be more about the meaning of the lyrics.
The video "Wasting My Time" was like, especially in historical locations like Kirkstall Abbey and Ada
Mhm.
Woods. What was the experience of filming that music video like?
That was fantastic at Kirkstalabi. So I have chosen that location because of the historical, meaning, and all the stories about uh, a ghost, this woman that has been seen there, and I think she killed herself, or she killed her husband, and then she killed herself, something like that. Um, and so it was very mystical. It was definitely a fantastic location where I was filming there, and also with all the actresses, that I have hired, and with the filmmaker as well. The location, as I said, fantastic location, and the storytelling also was great. The story of this princess that she wants to feel empowered, she wants to feel free, and so she choose to leave this monastery, because that's actually a real old monastery, the Kirksalabi. So she leaves, everything, um, and then she choose basically her own way, her own life,
Mm.
and and then also, the shooting during the weekend. I think I'm not sure if it was during the weekend, but it was raining, and the second day the second day it wasn't raining, but the first day when we were shooting in the woods, it was heavy raining. So with the heavy rain, shooting was a bit more tricky, but it was actually very magical. So it was really a realistic video in that way, having, the real rain as well. And we didn't know that it was gonna rain, so yeah, it just happened like magic. The rain at the right time, just for us. Um, and that's a very empowering song, and I think is available on Bandcamp, and on Bandcamp, if people want to download it, or it's on my website, it can be downloaded as well, and that would be a high quality download. And I have, as I said, produced all the music, and there was also a collaboration with Enrico Tavernini, and he produced a remix as well of my song, and actually two remixes. One more melancholic, more uh, slower, and another one electronic, synth pop. So there are other two remixes of that song, and that was fantastic. The video, I still have lots of props that I used. This crown actually was used during the video, so that was a great experience. Yes.
I liked you in the black fedora. Was you look pretty good in that too?
Which one?
The black fedora.
What would that be? Black fedora?
The last time you were on the podcast, you were wearing the black fedora, the black
Oh,
hat.
okay.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
nice.
yes, yes, I have plenty of them. Like I love hats.
So do I. You should see mine. I
Yeah.
got a red cowboy hat that advertised at the coffee
Yeah,
shop.
yeah, I love hats. I actually, if I could, I would have like a collection of hats with like
Yeah.
feathers and stuff. That would be so great to
So yeah,
add that, to my collection.
that's awesome. Hey, can you share any upcoming projects or releases you're excited about, especially for 2026?
Yes, so currently, I am doing a live online concert for the Weirdesville Festival,
Mm,
and that would be on my YouTube channel. And it's an acoustic set where I play the guitar, and so it's completely unplugged. Okay,
mhm,
so no jacks, just a normal microphone, to record, nothing
mhm.
else. And I thought that I wanted to do something more uh, minimalistic, more intimate for that. And I'm also wearing a fantastic red dress, which is very unusual because I always wear black. So I really
Mhm.
recommend people to watch that video, okay? Because it's not something that happens quite often. Maybe once in 10 years, okay? I can wear red. So go and watch that video, okay? Weirdsville Festival. And another event that would be HMV Store in Leeds, and I think that's in
Wow.
May. Um, it's a free event, okay? Also the Wearsville event.
HMV, the record store, they're all gone here. Canada, they're all gone. We don't have any more.
Oh, yeah, that's very bad. I'm sorry to hear that. Lots of stores are closing, and that's because people don't buy records anymore as they used to, whereas
No,
they
but
should
there are
buy more
still s
records, right?
but there are some still solid audiophiles out there who literally go into vinyl record stores and buy old
Yeah.
vinyl and, yeah.
Yeah, that HMV, they had my records in store, and so that's how I also sold some of my physical copies of music thanks to them. So they will probably store more of my physical copies of music, like these ones that I showed you before. They already said they will take one, and I don't know if you have like the All That I Need and images of that.
Maybe I
Have you
should get
ever?
into maybe I should get myself a record player because I gotta admit the sound is actually a lot better, you know?
It's much better. You wouldn't believe what's the difference. It's like unbelievable how different it is. So they had this one in store, images of that, which I also produced by myself. Everything, also the design, artwork, everything. Okay. The only thing that I didn't do, I didn't print them. Of course, it's a printing company, and this is all that I need. So they had these two as well in store, and I sold all the copies. So obviously it's good, to have the support of a local store in this case, because they can advertise and they can help you to sell the copies, obviously. So I will do that. I think it's in May. People can check out the event page, which is on my website stellawembley.com. It's actually the touring page, and go on next events, and they will find all the events there. And so it's totally free. They can come and obviously support the music. And I will be recording new singles. So probably in November, end of November, there will be a new single out. It's called God Show Me the Way.
Mhm.
It's a new single that I have recorded. And obviously it's very spiritual. And there is another one that I've just written. I'm not sure if I will release that after this one. It is in Latin, and is titled Spiritus Dami Gloriam.
Mm.
And there are other songs as well. Obviously, as I said, 14 songs. I think that I will wait until I have all the songs ready, just to have like a full album out. And maybe I will release two singles for the audience. And also, yes, I said there is the jewelry as well that I'm doing. So if any brand wants to collaborate with me on this, I will be more than happy to do that. And there is also another concert, but it's a private one because it's a live concert with children that I do as a teacher. So obviously for safety of the children, it cannot be advertised. But that will be also in November. So that's another thing that I'm doing, and I've been preparing all the kids from three different schools, plus the two kids that I am doing, one-to-one lessons. So yeah, that's a lot of work,
Mhm.
but it's fantastic. It's really fantastic that I'm living the dream. I would say.
Well, I enjoy that when people, do their dreams, and I enjoy doing what I'm doing, podcasting, and it only gets better. And I've just recently thought if I can, do podcasting for 4 years and stick it out, then it must be some other things I can do out there which will help me to stick it out. So 4 years from now, I can still be doing it. So I want to get into story writing. I want to get into writing a few books. I want to write. Want to
Hmm.
be the author. Um, and
Wow,
I want
that
to
would be
make
fantastic
I want to
writing
make
your
a
own book.
film. I want to make a film. Like I want to start a film studio and just start writing films and do my own short films and stuff. But one final question for you, Stella, because I know that I have to go. Um, what advice would you give to aspiring musicians and artists looking to break into the industry?
Never give up is the first advice. And I know that it's easy to say, but it's really just keep going. Just keep going, no matter how many difficulties, no matter how many disappointments, no matter how many times you fail. There are always, these are lessons for you. So you learn from, your mistakes if you have, made any mistakes, because you can't control everything. So sometimes it's just a matter of being at the right time on the right place and meeting the right person sometimes. Just never give up. And I would say don't be afraid to try new things, because if you don't try new things, you never know if something else is going to work. And also, I would say never compromise on things if you don't want to compromise on those things, because mental health is much more important. And just really have fun. Do what you love is the most important thing, to enjoy the process. Love what you do is the first thing, and then obviously have self-love and self-respect. So I know that music is important, for artists and musicians wants to make it, but for me there are things you shouldn't compromise. You always have to remember your worth and how much you worked to get to a certain point. And don't be afraid to ask for a salary that you think is the right one for you. So don't be afraid to set your own rates. Know your value, know your worth, and know that you are powerful every day, even when you don't feel powerful. Sometimes you need to pretend. Just pretend, when you don't feel powerful, just pretend you feel powerful.
I know what you mean. There's times when, and I've experienced this from other people, that they steal your song. So you need a lawyer. You need to have everyone
Mm,
there ready because you're going to write a song and someone's going to think it's, you're going to have those. So music and realizing that sometimes you may not be able to make money off your music, but sometimes you will. Because I know other artists, indie artists, who literally sell their songs on their website.
mm.
And I'm like, wow, $1.29 for that song. I'm like, they're making some money, but others are just like throw it on Spotify. We'll see how many streams they get. How many
Mm.
streams do they get? 1 million streams. How much is that? $20. But my friend said yesterday that he made over $4,000 on one of his albums. But it was streaming for quite a long time, and you're blessed if one of your songs goes almost 1 billion streams. Like on Spotify, "Toxic" reached by Britney Spears. "Toxic" reached 1 billion streams, but how much money did she really actually make from that? So,
Yeah,
but
because they really take a good cut, don't
yeah,
they?
but you
So
don't want to frighten someone who said, well, I'm not going to get into music then. Just tell them, just be cautious, get the right people, and learn.
Mhm.
Maybe I know somebody who took a songwriting course. I know somebody
Mm.
was able to write music and write the lyrics with the help of someone who was, so there's all sorts of stuff you can do.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult business, right? It's a difficult business. But I think if you really put the heart into the things that you do, and more importantly, if you look after yourself and your mental health, that's what maybe helps keep going. Because as you said, there are many people that have bad intentions. They may steal your song, things happening in the business. If you don't give up, and if you detach, from something, bad or a disappointment, that's actually more important. Your mind is very important, your mental health. So that's something that, it's do not take that for granted, for sure.
Thank you, Stella. I really
You're
appreciate you
welcome.
being on the podcast. Everyone, Queen Stella Wembley, it's graced our platform.
My pleasure.
you know, do the whole queen thing.
Encantada, encantada, encantada.
Yeah. So really appreciate you being on the podcast, everyone. All her links will be linked down below. You can her music, and hopefully we can get more links to put down there.
Mhm.
And yep, we're gonna try to release this on Halloween, actually, because I want
Yeah.
to post on Halloween evening and Halloween itself. So 2 episodes, 3 episodes next week.
Wow.
So yeah, I had Jack Phantomom last week, and I said, you know what? You're a good Halloween episode. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's do Stella as a Halloween episode too. So, well, Jack Phantom wasn't bad. I'm saying Jack Phantom's a Halloween episode, definitely. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. We're gonna end the stream. Wait right there, Stella. Bye, everyone. Bye,
Thank you.
Stella.
Thank you so much, Chris.
You're very
Bye.
welcome.